accounting science.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of students in South Africa. There are probably some of them, they click this video, they are intending to study accounting science. Others, they are in accounting science, right? Some of them, they don't know what is accounting science all about. Even if they are in accounting science, but in their mind, they want to become chartered accountant, a CASA. Let's talk about what is accounting science all about. Students who are intending pursuing accounting, like what are the mistakes that you think most students do when they are choosing their majors? What are the mistakes that they do?
What I actually find from our students is that most of them, they just want to be in tertiary. In the midst of those who still pursuing SAICA, we always say, remember, those who pursue SAICA, remember your route already is that.
Hello. Welcome back to Gift Varsity TV. This is your host, Gift Bozekana. Don't forget to like this video, leave a nice comment, and don't forget to share and tell others about this channel. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Today, I have a special guest next to me. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Gift, and I'm glad to be here and to see you in person. I am Dr. Lindiwe Mabesele. I am a lecturer at this point, and I'm born and brought up in Mamelodi to parents who are really hard workers. Parents who taught me the value of education, and despite the lack of funds and resources, they always saw potential in me and they believed in me as well. And and they encourage, the knowledge that with determination comes success.
Wow. That's great. Indeed. Let's go back, like starting from high school, coming like your tertiary education and so on. Yes, your educational background.
Yeah, I matriculated at Mamelodi High School. It's in Pretoria. It was there where I knew my love of figures, accounting and business studies, which were most of my majors at matric. So I got my matric there, and I went further on and post school. So I started at a TVET college, and do not underestimate that it shaped my life and understanding of fully what business is all about, because through that I managed for the first time in those years, I'm talking almost towards late 80s, and I came to learn about something called apprenticeship for commercial students, and nobody knew much about it. And I applied through this institution. It was a collaboration between South African Chamber of Commerce and the German Chamber of Commerce. So it was mainly including most of the companies that are German-based, and they are from Germany. And I was invited to come and join the program. So I went in because nobody knew much about apprenticeship in commerce. So I joined in, and they allocated me a company, and I was still young very then. And joined in, and this company offered me this position as a trainee, and I got exposure to every area of a business, every area. The things that we typically, talk about and process in accounting, I got to see it physically, almost every area. And to me, that was more like a privilege.
So you studied at the TVET college.
At the TVET.
What was the problem with going to varsity though?
I come from a background where not much information would come, forth in terms of getting yourself academically, prepared. West part of it, finances were not much adequate, but my parents believed in the little bit that we have. Let's try and do something. We're not going to let you stay around at home because an excuse is you don't have money. So I had applied to, universities and others. And when we look at the cost per program, and you realize, yeah, resource wise at home, we don't match. So the only option was my parents decided, you know what, this is what we can afford, go do it. And I went for it, and I had fun. And through that experience, I realized that now I'm becoming the top graduate, the top student in accounting, the top student in costing, and the top student in, but yet I knew I was supposed to be in the other institutions. So I carried on, and it's through that I managed to get this apprenticeship, which today other people call it learnerships, I think. Yeah. So, but that was then in the 80s, and it was unusual. We always knew there's apprentices when it comes to engineering guys, electrical guys, mechanical, and you name it. We didn't know there was a commerce, and I went in. Funny, there were so many students from Soweto who knew about it, but us from the Pretoria region and the other regions, it wasn't that much known. A few months ago, talking from today, I went into internet just to check if that program is still operational in South Africa. It's not. They took it to Namibia, and Namibian students are really very happy because you get to be trained by the BMWs. I'm talking about Mercedes. I'm talking big companies. It's not like just this, But that's the in just a nutshell of the whole experience before I even now further studied in universities and attaining my PhD as well.
Okay.
It was a brilliant journey.
Wow. I hear that you're one of the top performing students in accounting. So from high school, you're a performing student, like.
Yeah. I was funny. I almost forgot my history because I come a very, very long way, in this study journey. One of my friends, I think that was just after I got my PhD, that was in 2021, she phoned. She's still in Mamelodi, and she phones me and she says, "Hey, are you still good in accounting?" And I'm like, you still remember that, So it's always been that, and it's always been like that, even at university. But there was one time when one of these lecturers, we had this funny lecturer every time he would come to class, accounting lecturer, he would bring the scripts back, and he would stack his scripts from the top performers, the results. And but this one day, my results, I was not in the top 10. Funny, you think people are not paying attention. The whole class asked me, "Mabesele, what happened?" Yeah, it's that. But yeah, it comes from that love for accounting from matric. I loved accounting, and initially I intended, actually, as I was going through this apprenticeship, I managed to secure a job with that very same company. And now being a permanent, I thought, let me now, go back to this university. So I went to, this one big institution, and I registered for a BComt. Because I now intended to pursue the career in chartered accountant routes, and so I tried to juggle the full-time job, and at that point I was also a mom, and then things were not easy because then it's a killer. You look at those 4 books, the Saika books, the theory, or related activities and things. I couldn't handle it, and I'm saying this because I'm trying to say to everybody, at times you think you might be the top performers. We also go through that, where you struggle to find a balance between, academic and work life and being a mom and, yeah.
Okay. Wow. So you moved from Pretoria to here in Cape Town.
Yes.
All right. So instead of pursuing the CA route, what happened now that you start getting an interest in becoming a lecturer?
Yeah, good question. When we moved to Cape Town, it's not like we wanted to relocate. We relocated because family had to move because my husband is, the employers wanted to move them to Cape Town. So we had to relocate. So we moved to Cape Town, and when we moved, I never had a job. I wasn't even guaranteed anything. So it was just a pure move. You just leave your employers in Joburg and you come here. So coming here, I thought, what, let me keep myself busy and carry on with this, education. So as I was studying, similarly, I was also serving articles at this one financial service providers, one big one. And so I got approached by this university to say, please, man, do you want to come and help? And I said, okay, we'll try it. We'll try it on a contract basis and see if I like it. Hence, I always say to people, academia, found me, and I was not looking for it. So then they asked me to come help, and yeah, until today, I'm still helping. So I didn't stay in corporate, but I worked in corporate for almost 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have almost 15 years of corporate experience.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay. So now you started here, then you did your BCom. Like, when is it the point now that you reach a PhD? Let's take it from
Yeah.
there, starting from honors, masters.
Let me correct that.
Yes.
I didn't get to finish my my
Oh.
BCom because I had fallen in love with operationals. I had that exposure. So I didn't want to maybe just limit myself because, the BCom that I was pursuing, it was pure accounting sciences and it was more chartered accountant. So it was all about financial statements. All right. So I didn't want to limit myself because I wanted to understand actually the operational part of what would have happened for things to help us to get to a point where we are now, presenting the financial statement and information that is sitting there. So as I was, still working, and with this contract story of lecturing, then I started registering for a B degree in internal auditing. So I pursued that, did very well in it, enjoyed it because everything made sense. I had seen it during the apprenticeship. So I've seen everything during apprenticeship. So to now see it in the books, it was easy. All right, so I did the B degree in internal auditing, but recognizing that I'm in academia, I had to do my honors in higher education and training so that I understand the pedagogical side of what teaching and learning is all about. All right, so I brought this in, but then after the honors, then I did my master's in internal auditing. Right. Yeah. Then beyond that, then I pursued my PhD in accounting. All right. Yeah.
So you did your masters in internal auditing.
Yes.
Oh.
Then I did my master, my PhD in accounting sciences.
Okay. So let's talk about internal auditing. What is internal auditing all about? What's happening there?
Yeah. Internal auditing. If I were to draw a comparison, if you think accountants, they are more like bookkeepers, people who compile the records for accounting. And because now they provide the record in terms of the health of the financial health of a company. But do we know in those financial information, are those accurate? Can we trust them? You see a figure there and you think, oh, this company is doing very well. There's the figures, there's their financial statements. But do we know if it is accurate? Can we trust it? So that is where then internal auditors come into a picture to say, let us go and evaluate. We're going to test whether there were controls, what are the risks that the company had to overcome, what controls did they use to mitigate those. In that instant, then we come in and we tell them, those figures that you see in the financial statement, you can rely on them because we have evidence that everything was done according to compliance to rules. Everything was done because people adhered to controls that the company had put in. Everything is done and it's a true representation of financial reporting of that. So we come in as independent We come in and we give people assurance that the figures there, you can trust them because we have checked. People did everything correct. There were no fraudulent activities. There's no misrepresentation of information. Can we trace everything from the source document up till how it was recorded on the report? So basically, we dare to complement management to say, in your busy daily activities, we will be there to help say, yes, your controls are working. Here, there's a weakness. Try and get some control, put it into place. Don't wait until it's too late. By the time people show information on financial statements, you remember financial statement, they are shown after 12 months. Do you know during the 12 months who stole what? Who did it? So we come in there to say, all right, we give you assurance. And just to say, trust those figures. Similarly, things are still safe in the business. So people are doing the right things. Not to say we want to catch thieves and all the stuff, but should we come across one, we need to highlight and say, be careful, there's a weakness there. There's a weakness, and because of that, the company might be exposed to a certain risk.
Wow, 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 wow. Accounting students, I hope you do understand. Oh, wow, wow, wow. So you are lecturing internal auditing, and okay, let's go to accounting science.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of students in South Africa. Probably some of them, they click this video, they are intending to study accounting science. Others, they are in accounting science, right? Some of them, they don't know what is accounting science all about. Even if they're in accounting science, but in their mind, they want to become chartered accountant, a CASA. Let's talk about what is accounting science all about. What's happening there?
Yeah. Maybe let me start by maybe just give you a simple version of what, and I want to break it into two. You said it's accounting sciences. Let's just talk about the word accounting first. In a simple version, without getting professional and getting serious, accounting simply means it's a framework through which we express the financial health of an organization. That's it. So it's a framework. So we use books, we use that. But then when we say it is a science, it means the people who are practicing accounting, they use a systematic approach to do accounting.
Oh, they don't just
calculate. They don't just. So accounting sciences, it means it's a way in which people express the financial health of an organization, but follow a systematic approach to do that accounting. That's the simple version. All right. But you look at it, accounting sciences on its own is called a science, just like electrical engineering or the engineering sciences. Engineering sciences, remember, you have the chemical engineering, you have electrical engineering, you have mechanical engineering, and so forth. So accounting sciences also is almost structured like that. Accounting sciences on its own is an umbrella, but it encompasses a number of disciplines. For example, for those who want to pursue chartered accountant, they will follow the financial accounting route. Those who want to pursue internal auditing, so there will be a discipline under that umbrella that caters for internal auditing. There is those who are interested in tax, all right? So they will follow that route. There is those who are interested in cost accounting, they will follow that route. Then there's those information system analysts. So it's more like a broader overview, but underneath accounting sciences is those many disciplines. And then each discipline has got its own clusters. For example, internal auditing, where I'm at, you'll find those who specialize in internal auditing, pure internal auditing. Then there's those who specialize in forensic audits. All right. And there's those who are interested in environmental audits. And then there's those who are interested in fraud. So there's those specialties. There's those who say, I don't want to be an internal auditor, but I want to be a risk manager. So you find there's an umbrella, there's a discipline, then there's those clusters underneath each. And accounting on its own is broad. For example, those who want to pursue a BCom, for example, there's those two streams. There's a generalist, those who will never be accountants or who don't intend pursuing the chartered accountant route. But then there's those who want to pursue the accounting, the specialization. So there's that generalization and this specialization.
Wow, 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 wow. So there are a lot of opportunities around accounting science besides
Limitless.
becoming an CASA.
Limitless.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about the route now of becoming CASA. Like, what happens? What are the steps? What did you need to have?
Yeah, I don't speak as a CA
Okay.
because I'm not a CA. I'm an internal auditor.
Yeah.
But in general, you would still need your metric. It starts there. You still need your metric, and they have got their minimum pass mark requirement. You know that story. And if I'm not mistaken, you still need your accounting background from your metric and a little bit of maths. It could be pure maths, it depends on whichever institution wants to. But there's also those business studies. But you also find those students who've never done accounting at high school, but they're very good at maths. So there's those institutions that accommodates them. Similarly, those who have metric, yes, there's those who will meet those requirements, but you'll find that there's someone who maybe has got a metric results, but they did not do well, but they've been working in accounting environment for years. Then there's institution that accommodates such people. In that instance, we talk about something called recognition of prior learning. So when you apply, then they ask you to send a portfolio of evidence, what you've done, so that they can, translate those onto credits, whichever credits you qualify for them to be admitted to that. But then the route of CA on its own, it still follows. You still need to get your relevant, first degree, and most probably you still do your honors, and then they sit for their, the certification in theory of accountancy, and then they sit for their board exam, and then they register with SAICA and so forth. And then in the midst of the SAICA, because that's what we touch when we teach our students as well, in the midst of those who still pursuing SAICA, we always say, remember, those who pursue SAICA, remember your route already is directing you to chartered accountant. But there's those who pursue the same route but want to be external auditors. So in that instance, then they will register with IRBA, the International Regulatory Board Authority. And in that instance, then once they register with that, they can never practice as chartered accountant because they'll be recognized as external auditors. So vice versa. So if you want to be seen as external auditor, you'll follow that route of the additional IRBA thing. And if you don't want, you still want to be an accountant, then you stay with your SAICA without converting via the IRBA.
Oh, okay.
So it's a similar process with us as well as internal auditors. We also need you to, have your entry degree, and do your honors, and then you sit for that certification of internal auditors, the ultimate. And yet, before you can do that, you can still also do a junior certificate, internal audit technician kind of certificates, or a professional internal auditor. That's the second level of that. And then beyond that, then you do a certification as an internal auditing. But it's an international exam, that one as well.
As a lecturer, you said that in one of there are students who didn't do accounting at high school. Like, do you think that doing accounting or not doing accounting in high school has an impact on your success in accounting university?
I can say yes and no at the same time. So there's no straight answer. I say this for one reason. In a number of years, we have got something called an extended program in our institution. In our institution, we cater for those students who will have an additional year instead of finishing, for example, a diploma or a degree in 4 years. So they'll have that additional 1 year, so that we give them that special attention in gaining the understanding. In that, we do have students who choose to come to our institution with their beautiful maths because they don't have a background in accounting, and they come forth and they say, I've never had a background, but I'm willing to work hard, and they do well, so in that instant, I always believe there's potential in everybody. There's potential in everybody only if you are given a chance and you're willing to put in hard work. Yeah.
So guys, it's all about hard work. You can do accounting, you can become a CASA also, or an internal auditor. There are a lot of opportunities.
Cost accountant or a professional accountant. You name it.
Okay, so let's talk about what can students who are intending pursuing accounting, like what are the mistakes that you think most students do when they are choosing their majors? What are the mistakes that they do?
What I actually find from our students is that most of them, they just want to be in tertiary. I just want to be there. And yes, they get accepted. You sit with them in class, you ask them questions, concepts, and you pick up that, did you do your own research and search to understand exactly what programs we are all about, what we're going to do, which subjects we're going to do? Because you find then students say, I don't like that subject, but I like that. And then I always say to them, how far did you learn about what tertiary is all about, what programs are all about? Do you seek guidance? And I must admit, coming from a township myself, these opportunities are rare, where you find proper guidance and poor child find themselves here. And you find where students says, I never thought I'm supposed to do this subject. And then I ask them, but did you want to do this course? And then they will say, it was not my decision. At admin, they said I had this, and sometimes they will say it's the SRC that said I can. Then you find that, was it about getting the education, or was it about getting a space? You get what I mean? So that's where we have a problem, where you can easily attribute it to a student to say they didn't do the homework, but you find that it's a lack of information. We do have open days. We don't know how many have access, how many do know about it, and because those are opportunities where we disseminate information, what programs are all about. If you pursue accounting, if you pursue cost accounting, this is what's going to happen. If you pursue internal auditing, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, so you find that they don't do enough information search. They do not ask questions, and because now school is starting very soon, I need to register. So it's more like I need to have a space. What comes after, I'll sort it out. So then we sit with that in class, where you say, did you know you're going to do this difficult subject called internal auditing? Whether it's auditing or internal auditing, because I taught both of them anyway. There's a difference between auditing and there's an external audit and internal audit. And they say, I loved accounting and I love costing. And I'm like, but did you know the program also have got this as a major? And you find that they already here. There's those that as you take them through the program, they start enjoying and like, okay, we just need to be easy with them. Because I can tell you for sure, there's those who eventually graduate and they still tell you, I still don't know what I wanted to do. And you're like, it's 3 years that you've put in, or 4 years. Now you have a qualification, you're not going to be happy. So it's important that you do your own, informational search and informational interview. You interview people who already are doing stuff just to check, so that you're able to take out, don't think I'll be happy to do this. I don't think I'll be happy to do this. And until that point where you say, I think I'll be happy if I do this and this. Information is key. You don't want to find yourself doing something you don't enjoy.
Okay. Wow. Guys, Do your research. Don't just go at university because you feel the pressure from your mates or your friends or whatever. It's very important that you dig information. So because at the end it's money and it's and it's time. It's time. So what else do you think they must do in order to make sure that they are in a correct route, or they are choosing proper majors? What can students do?
Yeah, it still goes back to what we just said now, but maybe I'll highlight it from three perspectives. The first one, I'll say self-awareness. Know what makes you happy. Know which things interest you the most. If you don't like figures but you are a creative, you need to choose that which will make you happy. So know yourself, what makes you happy. What are you willing to put in? Is it something that is going to bog you down into figures, or is it just something that you'd want to travel and as you are fulfilling your career? But second of all is the training part. Do you know the program that you want to pursue? Eventually, what will be the end goal? Does it involve learnerships? Is it something that will take you maybe, traveling and so forth? All right. And then the third one is all about just ensuring that, you do your research, do your informational, interviews, seek information. Is there on the internet. There's people you can ask, there's people you can interview, there's those role models, around. There's people you see on, print media, there's people you see on social media. Some of them do even give you their contact, address. Why don't you just drop a line and say, I'm thinking I might be interested in this. Mind maybe just to give me an idea, because by so doing you're able to take and say, I don't think I like that. I don't think I like something that's only limiting me to this space. I want something. In my case, I realized that yes, I understand accounting, but I wanted to understand the operational part of it, and internal auditing helped me to actually connect that with it, and hence I fell in love with it. So I always say, know yourself, seek information about the training and the learnings. Is it the learnership? Does it involve learnership? What does it involve? Does it involve you traveling and so forth, so that you tick out those areas? I don't think I'll be happy with this. And then the last one, it's all about seeking information. Where do you get that information? There's information everywhere. If you want to send me, an invite, I'll direct you where to find that. There's information, Carlo, beautiful information, brilliant information.
All right, guys. Do research. It's all about research. At the end of the day, it's all about the research and making sure that you ask people who are in that profession that you want to pursue. Don't just ask anybody. Don't ask mama, can I go for this, while your mother is not an accountant, because at the end you will blame your mother at the end. So you want you to blame yourself, and make sure that you did a proper research. Doctor, many students, they come to university with good marks, right? Others, they were top achievers in their high schools. They were cream de la cream of the province. The others, they were in national. Then they come here at varsity, they start failing. Others, they end up dropping out, even don't complete their degrees.
Yeah.
What do you think is the problem?
Tertiary is a total different environment from high school. Remember, at high school, there's that one teacher. Did you do your homework? Can I see? Let me mark. Give you feedback. You're happy, you go show it to your mom. Yeah, you come in, we expect you to be an adult. So an adult, basically meaning that you're responsible. So you come in here, you're lucky. I'm one of the person who's very interested in students. I know most of my students by their name, but I'm still very strict. Still need to do, if we say buy a textbook. So it's gonna come in handy at the end of the day, right? So you come in here, you still expect what your teachers did, We don't do it here. So here we come and explain to you, this is my course, so. There's a subject guide. Material is available. Some of it we got online. This is how we operate. That's a book you need to buy. You buy it or you don't buy it. That's your own baby. No one is going to worry about you. All right, but I'm one person who's very particular. I worry about them. I always tell them your book is your investment. All right. So it's basically you are on your own. Yes, we meet in class, and yes, we will talk about any other personal issues if you need our contribution. But other than that, the package that you used to get from high school, you're not gonna get here, because here is, remember, we adults, we come to class, you write, we lecture, and at times you find there's certain subjects where you find in one venue and a time slot there's about close to 100 students sitting there. It's not easy who'll remember Mabesele, hey, you there. So nobody knows you. So it's for those, remember, you come from school, high school, and people will, your teachers always remember your name and they would give you that attention. Here it's more like, come in, hello, good morning, goodbye. And so you feel that distance. So you find that because there's those students or pupils who do well at high school because there was that extended support. Here you don't get it. Then you find the one who is doing very well there. All of a sudden, it feels like there's a disconnect. This person is so far away from me. He comes, stands behind the mic, wow, goes home. And those are other part of the human being I always talk about, is the mental wellness of a student, which as academics, remember, we just look at academic activities. The whole picture is a human being. We leave it to other departments to do. Whether students use it, we don't know. So there you find the distance. And then remember, because all of them now come from different areas, there's those who are very confident, who would raise their hands and talk in class. Now the poor child who got so much beautiful marks during, high school, intimidation. So there's those dynamics that are taking place, when students transition from high school to university. Discipline as well, because remember, I just told you, it's independence, pure independence from how you used to be treated here. So here you find, then they discover there's new things, there's freedom, there's no mom, lecturer came into class and that's it. You go to rest, you stay there or wherever you're staying, and self-control. And if there is that disconnect, chances are great you'll find that child loses. And there's those who also lose focus. They come here, they realize, there's so much independence. I will study 3 days before. I know I used to be strong in accounting, so 3 days before I will study. The rest I'll just do shopping and do this stuff. So I talk as a student because I was a student before. I know exactly how it feels like to stay at rest and all the stuff. So it's the area that tests the child maturity as well, and discipline, and the focus and the remembering why you came here. There's those who when you're fortunate as a lecturer, they will come, during and after lectures, and they will come and say to you, I'm this kind of a person who need this. But if they don't say, you wouldn't know if there's hundreds of students in an auditorium. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you find that that transition tends to be a bit of a difficult, process to complete as a student, and yet when we introduce ourselves, we give them these tools. We have this department that does this, we have this department that does this. Then, you realize towards end of the year, I like to say to students, because I make efforts to make sure that if I don't remember a student's name, I'll always remember their face. So when I don't see you come to class, when you come back the next time, I'll tell you, I haven't seen you in years. Where have you been? So you try to bring in the little bit of comfort, of that contact, whichever little ways that one tries. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, guys, varsity is either you create yourself or you destroy yourself. So you've been lecturing students for many years, right? And you saw others graduating. What is the secret of what do you think top students or students who do graduate have do in order to make sure that they get what they came here for?
Yeah, I always say, you remember I mentioned there's three things that I would have wanted to give somebody who wants to make a career choice. I still go back to self-awareness. Realize that you come to tertiary, you need to find that balance. There would be entertainment in this environment, there would be, then there's that academic part that you don't need to neglect. You find those strong students who are able to balance that and still do well in academics. And you still want to see a student who says, I still want to commit because this is my first entry to work environment. If I don't have discipline here, it will be difficult for me to correct it. So it is those students who always remember that I need to be in class every day. If I'm not, I remember my lecturer said to me, if you did not make it to class, make it your responsibility to check with your colleagues what was done in class so that you catch up. So you find those who do well and graduate eventually. When you speak to them, then they say, your advice, we took it, to heart and we applied it. There were times where we could not make it to class, but we kept up to date. But they remembered that I wanted to give myself, if this degree is a 4 years, I need to give myself 4 years. If it's a 3 years, 3 years I need to be out of here. I always say to students, please, man, don't repeat me. I don't want you to repeat. It's not nice. In particular, repeating this auditing subject, it's a nightmare of a subject. You don't want to see it over again. You don't want to see me again,
Yeah, because a lot of students, they are scared of auditing.
So I always say, please don't repeat it. Pass it once. If you don't intend to be an internal auditor, pass it, but please don't pass it with 50s. At least give yourself the 60 so that you're able to, articulate to other subjects or other qualifications should you wish to. But yeah, it's the discipline. You appreciate when a child says, you know what, in 3 years' time, I want to be out of here. If my degree is a 3-year, degree, if my degree is 4 years, 4 years time, I need to be out of here. And when you see them graduate and you're like, you know what? I don't know. Should I take a hat or do I bow? I don't know. You feel so happy. And then you have those in class. You have those in class who engage with you. Because it's difficult for them to see practical industry, before them. So you try and find ways to bring in, real scenarios, videos, images, which start talking, and they make sense out of that. And then they come to you and they say, when I started this year, I had already decided I want to do accounting, but you've changed my mind. And I'm like, no. My job is not to help you change your mind. My job is to make sure that you get your distinction in accounting, get a distinction in auditing, get a distinction in costing. Because when you do those shining things, I want to see you as an audit manager. Or one of the auditor general, most probably. You never know. So it's those things that I always say to students: aim high, do not short sell yourself, man. You remember you came here, it's not by mistake. That is if you've done your research first and you've decided this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's not by mistake that you ended up here. There is a purpose, there's a reason why you came here. Otherwise you could have been somewhere else. So don't forget, get this, because we are not guaranteed the jobs. So make sure you graduate in 3 years whilst jobs are still available. You don't want to be repeating. By the time you graduate, then it's a little bit of a challenge to secure a job and so forth. I'm not saying it's like things are like that. I'm just, hypothetically putting an example. Yeah, so it is those students who give you that spark in class. And when you hear them send you an email or on LinkedIn and they say, Miss, do you know I'm an audit manager? And I'm like, yo, I don't know. I always tell them, I leave this to you guys. I want you guys to be managers. I could have easily been an audit manager, but my intention was to make as many as possible audit manager instead of having myself as one of the few that are around. So you get so excited when they send you. Now I'm in this so company in the UK. I'm like, okay. So which means when I was pulling your ear, you got it, you got it somewhere,
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very, very great. That's very great. All right. So, what do you think, Doctor? Every accounting student should know that you think that I didn't ask. That you think it's very, very critical that I know you touched the research part and the other things.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you think every accounting student must have in their mind wherever they are studying, work?
Yeah, one big thing I want, maybe a word of encouragement. I want to say, once you've arrived, talking about whether you got your diploma, got your degree or your honors, please do not settle. Do not say that's it. It shouldn't be enough. Can I challenge them? It shouldn't be enough. I realized when I had my honors, it's not enough. So I did my master's because I now realize I understand, the one part of putting things into practice. Then I felt, let me go research and question the things that I'm doing. So that's why I did research, talking post-grad, research related, activities, because we need to question things. We should not settle with what we've got in practice. We still need to question relevance. Is it still relevant? It's relevant. Does it need improvement? Research now helps you to say, oh, there's a weakness there, there's a gap. So let's do that. Do it. Research is about solving problems. We can't just be putting information without solving problems. In internal auditing, we say we add value as much as accountants are saying they add value to a company, but it needs to go beyond that. We shouldn't just settle with our degrees. Do research, man. We need a lot of masters and a lot of PhDs. I'm inviting you guys. We shouldn't be just a few. It's doable. Here I am. I'm just an ordinary person. I come from a township. We didn't have enough money for me to start, properly. My journey took a trajectory from pursuing a BCom, and then eventually I took, on that. But eventually it's doable. So come, let's do research.
Guys, challenge. Here's the challenge. Okay. Wow. That's really great and very, very inspirational. And I hope, guys, you're also inspired here back at home. Any last words of motivation to every student now? Every student that is at varsity, others they want to come to varsity. Like, you can look at them and tell them whatever they want to. Just the last words.
Yeah. Like I always say, every human being has got a potential. All right. And also realize that we live in an era now where there is unlimited capacity. There is information everywhere. Use it. And do not forget, run your own show. Do not compete with anybody. Be your own competition. Yeah, be your own competition. But as you're running your own show, always remember, there will be those who say nay. There will be those who criticize you. And you'll see through your journey, you'll find the ways to rise above noise. If you know what I mean when I say noise that surrounds you. And those that you feel that is not relevant noise, or that is a noise that is meant to sharpen me, or that is a noise that intends to bring me down, and learn to rise above that. It's doable. Rise like a phoenix.
Rise, guys. Whoa. Doctor, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Doctor. It was very great having you on our channel, Gift Varsity TV. We got very, very critical information that I think each and every student whichever, even if they're in another stream of learning, whether they are in another faculty, but still, you know, it can apply to you as well. That how should you behave as a student in varsity to make sure that you go with what you were initially wanted to, you know, intending for. You don't want to disappoint your parents back at home because they're so proud of you, you know. Yeah, so thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Certainly got to see
Thank
you
you.
next week.
Great. Guys, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment,
Thank you.
and like this video. Thank you so much, and tell others about this channel
Yes.
and about this video.
You're
Thank
doing
you.
a great job.
Thank you,
You're doing a
Doc.
beautiful job.